Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Beat with Richard Holdridge, presented by Georgia Alabama Sports Live. So glad that you could join me here on the show. With everything going on up in Troup County, this is the last regular season week of high school football. I couldn't think of a better guest to bring on the show than BTV's own Kevin Eckleberry, and he covers the whole Troup County area and beyond, Valley, Heard County. He's been really busy. He's been run all over Troup County covering these teams. But Kevin, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Richard. It's awesome to be here. I think I was your guest right before week one.
That's right.
Football. Now here we are already, and it's the last week of the regular season in Georgia. Hard to believe.
Well, I mean, you've been doing a great job just covering all these teams up in Troup County, which, by the way, we do have some playoff scenarios. I was actually looking at, the possibilities that could happen. The whole thing just shook up when Sandy Creek lost to Mary Persons, but we got Lagrange could win the region if Sandy Creek loses to Troup County. I mean, how crazy is that? Lagrange is actually rooting hard for Troup County to beat Sandy Creek.
100%. That's kind of an unusual situation. And Troup's got a chance. The Tigers absolutely have a chance to go up there and beat Sandy Creek. It's a huge task, obviously. Sandy Creek's incredibly talented, but yeah, where we stand right now, Lagrange and Sandy Creek both have one region loss. And of course, Sandy Creek beat Lagrange, so it has the tiebreaker. So Lagrange needs to beat Upson Lee this Friday, which will not be easy because Upson Lee is really good as well.
Oh, they're good. Yeah.
They are. And then Troup would need to beat Sandy Creek in order for Lagrange to be the one seed. But regardless, with the new power rankings and everything, winning region titles doesn't have quite the same significance it had before, but it would still be huge because I actually went back and looked, and the last time Lagrange won a region title was 2006, which is kind of hard to believe for a program of that caliber. So it's been almost 20 years since the Grangers outright won a region championship. So I know they'd love to make it happen this week.
Oh, yeah, there's no question about it. And with Lagrange and Troup both in 3A, it's a new playoff format. Only the top two teams will get the 16 automatic bids, and then the rest of the teams will actually get thrown into an at-large pool. So we could possibly see more than 4 teams make the playoffs in this region.
Well, that's why a team like Troup, that's why every game's so important for them, because they could finish. Yeah. They could finish 5th in this region and still have a really good chance. So it has really changed things, and I kind of like it, to be honest, because in past years you had really good teams that got left out of the playoffs, and now teams that might finish outside of the top 4, they get a chance to make it in. So that's also why Troup beat Spalding County this past week, which was such a huge win for them because they were 2 teams that were kind of right around the same place in the region. So wins like that are so huge. So it certainly makes for a lot of drama here on the last week of the regular season.
Well, right now, according to the latest rankings of Georgia High School Football Daily, it consists of 6 media polls, including Max Preps, Maxwell, 680 The Fan, Score Atlanta, ITG Next, and the AJC. Lagrange is number 6. I didn't get a chance to see what Troup County was ranked in the latest rankings, but let's say Troup County did lose to Sandy Creek. Is there still a chance that Troup County can get into the playoffs?
Yeah, there absolutely is. Again, just because that's a road game against one of the top teams in the state. So it would just depend on how the power rankings shake out that last week. So they absolutely do. They would win, and I think there would be no doubt. I mean, you go on the road and beat Sandy Creek, and to me, their Troup would be an absolute lock to get into playoffs. So so they'd rather just have fate in their own hands and go up there and win against Sandy Creek, which again is tough because despite losing this past week to Mary Persons, this Sandy Creek team's incredibly talented, and this game will also be at home where Sandy Creek never loses. So, but this is also, it's a young Troup team, a lot of sophomore quarterback, sophomore running back, sophomore wide receiver. So, young guys all over the field, but they feel like, why wait? Let's go out and make it happen right now. And they feel like they absolutely have a chance.
Well, I do feel that this Troup County team actually helped their cause as far as strength of schedule, beating a Villa Rica team to start the season. I mean, their losses were to Harris County, which Harris County is going to make the playoffs in 4.
Right.
Upson Lee, I mean, that was a very tough game. I think that Whitewater game, because I was looking at, if we were doing the old format, you would have to hope that Whitewater would lose their final game of the regular season because they would have the tiebreaker with Troup. But now, because they're in 3A, there's still a chance that they could make the playoffs, even if they finish in 5th place.
Yeah, that Whitewater game was really kind of an odd game. They were up 10-0 at the half and then had like 3 turnovers right out of the gate in the second half, ended up losing 28-10, which again, when you have a team with a lot of inexperienced players, that's the kind of thing that might happen. But and going on the road and beating Mary Persons 24-17 was absolutely a milestone win. And that was back, obviously, Mary Persons ended up having to forfeit games for using an ineligible player. But when they played Troup, they were at full strength at that point. So that was a huge win. You mentioned Villa Rica is a really nice win, and Spalding is a terrific win. That's actually a rematch of last year, a second-round playoffs.
Yeah.
The Spalding County won. So that was big. And, even though Trinity Christian doesn't have the best record, Troup came back and won that game in overtime. So, again, it's with this new system. It's in past years, Troup would go to this last week. Well, basically playing for pride. So this power ranking system was designed to make sure, the best teams do have a chance to advance. So they go into this last week with an opportunity.
Yeah, I'm looking at the latest standings. Upson Lee has got a 5-2 record right behind Lagrange. So Lagrange needs to win this game if they want to host a playoff game at Callaway. Otherwise, they're going to be going on the road, and Sandy Creek and Upson Lee are going to be the number 1 and number 2 seed.
Right. I mean, everybody's focused on Lagrange has a chance to win a region title, which they do. But I guarantee you they're not thinking about Sandy Creek and Troup. You talk to Coach Matt Napier, he is laser focused on Upson Lee. And I was able to watch Upson Lee. I actually went up to or over to Thomaston to watch Upson Lee and Troup play. And that is an incredibly gifted team. I mean, they look the part on the field, especially on the line of scrimmage, and they look like a small college team and tremendous skill players. So I guarantee you, Lagrange is incredibly focused on Upson Lee right now, and it's a really fun place to go to a game too up there at Upson Lee. They always pack the stands up there. It's a tremendous setting. So if you're Lagrange, you go into this with an opportunity, knowing you win, and you're going to get to host a playoff game. So that's a lot on the line. And beyond that, you just want to go into the playoffs with momentum. Lagrange has won, I think, 7 games in a row at this point after starting the season 1-2.
Yeah.
So they're playing well. It just they're rolling right now. And I think your little intro video, I think the first player you see is Malachi Fannin Render.
Yeah, that's right.
And what an incredible player he is, and what a fun guy he is to watch. I'm sure you're familiar with this story.
Yeah.
He basically missed 2 full years with injuries as a sophomore and a junior. And so for him to come out this year and be healthy the whole year and perform like he has, it's just so fun to watch. He's one of those guys, kind of like Teo Todd at Troup, where he just kind of has the ability to break a defense's will. I've seen it so many times this year where teams think they've got him and he just runs into them, runs over them, and goes off for like a 70-yard touchdown run. So when you have a guy like that, it certainly gives you an edge. And they've got so many other talented guys as well. Quarterback Dylan Barber has been such an incredible addition to this program. And the defense with defense coordinator Burton Thomas has just been tremendous all season. So, I kind of, obviously I'll be we'll talk about this game later at Callaway Stadium for the big game between Callaway and Morgan County, but that'd be fun to be over there at Upson Lee as well. It's one of those nights, man, I wish I could clone myself and be at all three places.
Kevin, you really need to get a team at BTV Sports. You got to get some interns underneath you. And send one person to Upson Lee and send somebody up to Tyrone to cover Troup County, Sandy Creek. I mean, because you're just a one-man guy at BTV Sports when it comes to like covering all these teams. But that's a good segue because I do want to talk about probably one of the biggest games all season in 2A, and it's going to be right there at Callaway Stadium. I mean, Callaway, who started the season off 0-2, they are ranked 6th according to the latest rankings, taking on undefeated Morgan County out of Madison. And obviously, the winner of this game wins the region. And I think the way that Callaway has played, especially their quarterback Blake Harrington, they've looked unstoppable after losing to Cass, a very good 4A team in the Corky Kell Dave Hunter Classic, and then losing to an Opelika team that is about to go into the playoffs in 7A in Alabama. I mean, so Callaway has just been on fire, and I think that we got to pack Callaway Stadium with as many Callaway faithful because Morgan County, they're ranked 2nd in the 2A for a reason.
Yeah, that first game against Cass was such a weird situation. They were supposed to play on Friday night, and then it got postponed because of weather. Then it was supposed to be at Callaway Stadium, and then it got moved back to Cass. And you mentioned Cass is really good, and their all-state quarterback unfortunately got hurt at Cass, so they struggled a little bit. And Opelika's really solid. A game that doesn't impact the power rankings, by the way, because out-of-state games don't count, which is kind of odd. But yeah, they are really playing well, which is not surprising. Head coach Pete Wiggins, who's been there since 2005, and he's going to be a Hall of Fame coach eventually. They always get better as the season goes along, and inevitably they get to this time of the year, they're playing their best, and that is certainly the case right now. You mentioned Blake Harrington, their junior quarterback. He's a guy, most places he would have played as a sophomore, maybe even as a freshman, but Callaway had such a good quarterback last year, and Deshaun Coleman.
Right.
So Blake would come in and play in spots, and every time he came onto the field, he gave a spark to that offense. And man, he has been so good this season. Early on, when they had some injuries and things, he pretty much was the offense. He was their quarterback. He was also their running back primarily. So now Blake's been incredible. He's got 18 touchdown passes, only 4 interceptions, a bunch of touchdown runs. Wow. But the big thing for Callaway is running back Tyron Buggs, a senior. He tore his ACL, I believe, last December, and he came back a month ago. And man, he's been so good. I think at 5 games, he has 700 rushing yards, 10 touchdowns. So he's been so huge for them. And another guy they got back, wide receiver Caden James, has been really good. So they're at full strength. They're healthy, which, as you know, this time of year is so big. If you can just get at this point of the year healthy, you really feel good about your chances. And so I'm really looking forward to this game. I expect a huge crowd at the stadium. Morgan County is really good. This region that Callaway and Morgan County are in is not the best, to be honest. So they both have a lot of walkovers. But you look at the non-region schedule, Morgan County, I think they beat Oconee County, which is a really good win. And obviously, you reference who Callaway's played. So it's you look at regular season games, one of the bigger regular season games Callaway's had in 5 or 6 years. You get to week 10 and it's a true region championship game. It doesn't get any better than that. And it's going to be so much fun. I know, like you said, hopefully the community will turn out and fill the stands at Callaway Stadium. And I know Morgan County, they're going to they're going to bring the town and fill the visitor stands up as well. So yeah, I can't wait for that one.
Yeah, like you mentioned, I mean, their region only has six teams. Jackson, Westside, Pike County, and Rutland are the other teams. So they haven't really been tested in this region. So it's a collision course between two powerhouses in 2A. I know the state is going to be on notice, and I know that down in Columbus, we're rooting for Callaway because right now Carver is ranked third in the rankings behind Pierce County and Morgan County. Of course, Pierce County is the defending 2A champions, but in a perfect world, we would love to see a Carver Callaway state championship in 2A. I know you would love it. I would love it. I've already got approved by Marvin James to get media credentials at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So if it is Carver Callaway, I'll be seeing you at the state championship.
Oh, how much fun would that be? Obviously, Callaway played for a state championship in 2020 and won it. And at that point, they played at a Center Park Stadium,
right?
Where it used to be Turner Field, which was great. But there's something special about being a Mercedes-Benz. Obviously, number one, you can close that roof. So if it's one,
rain,
you never know. December in Georgia, who knows what you're going to get. So just to be inside, and plus, it just makes it a little more special. Off topic a little bit, but I used to love when they played all the semifinal games in the Georgia Dome. That was such a fun day. I mean, you talk about nonstop football. Now with so many classifications, you can't afford to do that, but it's such a big deal for the players. But I'm sure if you ask the Callaway and Carver coaches, the last thing they're talking about is playing for a state championship. Just get through this last week of the regular season, hopefully win, and get to the playoffs healthy and playing well and see what happens. But I have not seen Carver, but man, from what I've heard about them, they absolutely are the real deal. And that's such a tremendous program, and would not be a bit surprised to see them in Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah, we called a game on Georgia Alabama Sports Live where they beat the number 7 team in 2A, Sumter County, 31-0. That was a statement win. That defense played lights out. That would just be the dream matchup, and we're rooting for both Callaway and Carver to make deep runs in the state playoffs. On a side note, Kevin, congratulations, Heard County. They end up winning their region. I know you cover Heard County, so that's a great accomplishment for the Braves up there in Franklin.
Yeah, they're really a special team. They went up this past week and traveled up to Floyd County and beat Model to win the region championship. Head coach Shane Lassiter, congratulations to him and the other coaches and the players. Obviously, they're talented. They've got one of the best quarterbacks I've seen play in quite a while. As a sophomore, his name is Ethan Tisdale. I mean, he'll go out every week and throw for 200 yards and also run for 200. It's just really incredible to watch him. And they're a team. There's a lot of sophomores, and these are guys, they grew up together in Franklin. They played recreation football together, middle school football together, and now on the high school level. So it's kind of an interesting note. They're before this year, their last region title was 2018, and that team went on to win a state championship. So who knows?
Right, yeah.
Who knows? Maybe history will follow. So that's all. I love going over to their stadium. It's just when you talk about Friday night lights and small town football, it's everything you want it to be over there. The town literally closes down, and they all come out to watch their game. So I kind of hated that Heard County and Callaway have played forever, but they weren't able to match that up this year, which is a shame. But it's a fun place, and congratulations to the Braves.
Yeah, that was the Pulpwood Classic, right? That's what they call it.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. Those rivalries, like Callaway didn't play Troup County this year. They didn't play, Heard County. I mean, we really want to get these rivalries back, but I know that Callaway's schedule, because they were in the Corky Kell Dave Hunter Classic, but we did get to see them play Opelika. I mean, so that was good that they brought that back.
It was a fun game, but yeah, personally, I'd love to see a round robin series of games here in Troup County with Lagrange playing Callaway and Troup, and obviously all the way around. But it just didn't work out this year for various reasons. But Callaway and Opelika has become a really fun game. I know this year was a little one-sided, But before that, every game was like a one possession game late. So that's a really, really fun game. And I enjoy the like the Georgia, Alabama kind of cross state games. Those are a lot of fun. Really enjoy seeing those. So, but yeah, it is. You kind of hate to see some of those rivalries go by the wayside a little bit. My hope is that the next cycle they'll be able to play again.
Absolutely. We would love to see that. And let's go ahead and move on to Lagrange softball. The Lady Grangers are going to be in Columbus this week. They punched their ticket to the Elite Eight in the state championship. I know, Kevin, you're excited. You're going to be down there at the South Common Softball Complex. Just talk about just the journey that the Lady Grangers softball team has done this season, and how are their chances looking in the state championships?
Well, number one, it's a senior-led team. I believe they have 13 seniors on the roster, which is fairly remarkable. And you hear about that. I know us in the sports business, we throw chemistry around. That's one of those cliches, but they've got it for sure. Again, these are players. They've been together forever, playing together, and you can really see that camaraderie when they're out there on the field. And they got just a huge second-round win over North Hall. It's funny. I talk about all the seniors on this team, and it was a freshman pitcher, Dakota McDaniel. She threw a no-hitter in the first game, and then she came back in game 3 and threw another complete game, gave up like 3 hits. So I'm sure in fast pitch softball, if you have that lockdown pitcher, it makes such a huge difference. So Lagrange has that, and they play really solid defense behind her, and they they get timely hits and just play well together. And the coach's name is Craig Mobley, and he's done the head coach, and he's done such an awesome job, and he's got a terrific staff as well. It really is a family feel over there. Before the North Hall series, they had a send off. It was at 7:30 a.m., which is a little early for me, but I was out there anyway. And it was so cool to see all the family members and faculty members from the school and students. They were out there holding up their signs. So it's really cool to see this team really get that kind of recognition and make the players feel special, which you should, because it's a big deal to get to Columbus. This is the second time in recent memory that Lagrange has got there. I think before they got there, they actually made it to the Final Four in Columbus, and now obviously there's 8 teams left. But yeah, I mean, I like their chances. Like I said, when you have that pitcher that gets it done, which they do in Dakota McDaniel, you kind of start there. And Zoe Thompson is their other pitcher, and she's really solid as well. So, and as you know, confidence is such a big thing in sports. I mean, when you go on the road and beat a good team like that, you feel like there's nothing we can't accomplish. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to getting over there. And that's such, I know you've been over there. That's such a fun event to cover. It's just tremendous. And of course, that's a perfect facility to do that, because I think they've got all kinds of fields over there, including the big stadium. So, yeah, I can't wait to get over there. I think 11 a.m. Wednesday morning. So I'm really excited to get over there and see what happens. It's kind of Heard County. Before last year, they'd won 3 straight state championships, and they're always in Columbus as well. And they did not make it this year. So, but they still had a tremendous season. But yeah, I'm looking forward to being over there. Hopefully, I'll get to see you over there.
Yeah, I'm hoping to run into you, because we're going to be down there covering Northside and Harris County. Of course, South Common Softball Complex is very special to me. It's where the NAIA World Series was at. I was doing media credentials the past 3 seasons. We also called the GIAA Softball Championships last weekend. And, of course, we're going to be covering Northside and Harris County. Looking forward to seeing you down there. West Lawrence is their first opponent at 11 o'clock. Actually, they have multiple fields. I don't know if they're going to be playing on the main field because all the other classifications in the entire state of Georgia are going to be playing all at the same time. It's a double elimination tournament. So I think it's great just for Columbus to open their doors and welcome all these high schools in the entire state. I think it's going to be great for the economy. I know that you guys up in Lagrange, you're just going down I-185. It's not much of a trip, maybe about a 45-minute trip for you, but looking forward to seeing you there.
Yeah, it is crazy to think about how many teams are going to be there. I mean, all those different classifications, but yeah, they do such a tremendous job of running that event, and it is great for the community. You're right, from an economic standpoint, and I love downtown Columbus. It's such a fun place to go visit. I've been to obviously a bunch of football games there over the years, and softball games, and I'm really looking forward to watching some baseball games in downtown Columbus here in the near future. Really excited about that against the Clingstones.
So, I know.
So that's going to be so much fun to see, Atlanta Braves future players in Columbus. So, man, it's an exciting time for Columbus.
Well, Kevin, I always appreciate you coming on the show. There's just so much to talk about, and you're constantly busy running around Troup County covering all these teams. Before I get you out of here, how could people see your work? How could they follow you? And basically, how are they able to just see some of the things that you've been working on?
Well, kind of our hub of operations is our Facebook page. You can just search for BTV Sports. I believe we're probably the only one of those you can find. And then from there, obviously, we've got a presence on Twitter and YouTube and Instagram, and obviously our television stations as well. But yeah, just go to Facebook and search for BTV Sports, and that's kind of our hub of operations. And we have interviews, stories. I also have a newsletter where I write stories, and you can have access to that as well. So it's a fun time of year. I love this time of year, football standings. I got up this morning and went out on the back deck, and it felt a little bit cool, which is awesome. It feels like football weather. So yeah, it's a great time of year, and man, I cannot wait to be at the stadium this Friday night, and then get into the playoffs and see what happens.
Absolutely. Oh, a couple more things I wanted to throw at you before I get you out of here. Congratulations to Trey Blackman, Georgia High School Football Hall of Fame. I know you've got some Trey Blackman stories. And Lagrange College, 4-3. When was the last time Lagrange College has been this good in football?
Well, Lagrange College was they were 0-10 last year. They had a new coach, and it was obviously a rebuilding year. So yeah, that's been really awesome to see. And they had their homecoming game this past Saturday against Greensboro, and it was they had a big
2,000 fans at Callaway Stadium.
So they had a nice big crowd there. So that's really cool to see. Obviously, it's a program that started in 2006, so almost 20 years now, and wow. They have had one winning season in the history of the program. So so this is a big deal, and that's really awesome to see. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Trey Blackman. A really cool note. Actually wrote about this. His son plays college football at Kentucky State. Trey Blackman Jr. Nice. And he had an interception Saturday, the same day that Trey Blackman was inducted into the Hall of Fame. So that was really cool. But he was I've told people asking me, I don't know if he's the best high school player I've ever covered. He's pretty close, but he's by far and away the most intimidating high school player I've ever seen. I mean, just literally looked like he shot out of a cannon as soon as the snap was made, and his ability to accelerate and hit with such power and ferocity, man, it was so fun to watch. I was kind of joking, if back in those days if we'd had social media, he would have had viral moments every Friday night. People would have been sharing his videos. My gosh, look what Trey Blackman did. And of course, that whole defense in 2003, and especially in 2003, remember they had Wesley Woodyard was a senior. And then he graduates, and they're even better in 2004 with Trey Blackman, Travis Hart, Corey Gerald, just on and on. But Trey was just such an intimidating presence, and yeah, that's awesome, and congratulations to him. And Lagrange coach Matt Napier actually took a bunch of his players to the induction ceremony Saturday, which was really cool to see that presence up there. And I'm sure it serves as motivation to them. It's like, hey, if a Lagrange guy from then can do it, shoot, why why not me as well? So yeah, that was really awesome. I appreciate you bringing that up.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you once again coming on the show, and looking forward to seeing you next time.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks a lot, Richard.
Absolutely. That's BTV Sports anchor Kevin Eckleberry. Thank you so much once again for watching the Sports Beat with Richard Holdridge, and hope you have a great rest of your day.